Welcome to Cigar City Radio, episode number 46. I'm your host, Randy Ojeda, as seen in the pages of the Tampa Bay Times. Ooh. And making the magic happen, also seen in the pages of the Tampa Bay Times, Mr. Jason Solanes.
Well, how's it going there, Randy?
It's going.
Is it going slowly?
Not really. It's going at a pretty reasonable speed.
I'm not going to say it. I have nothing interesting this time.
Nothing.
No, I'm dead inside.
Yeah, I've known that for years, though.
Yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4.
In case you missed the story on the cover of the Tampa Bay Times, we've partnered up with longtime Tampa rocker Greg Billings to release 4 classic Stranger albums onto digital music services for the first time. Stranger continues to be one of the most legendary bands from the Tampa area, and we're proud to be a part of continuing their legacy. So right now you can find 1989's No Rules, 1991's No More Dirty Deals, 1993's We Be Live, and 1995's Angry Dogs from Stranger on Spotify, Apple Music, Tidal, Amazon, and everywhere else. So if you didn't know, our friends at Creative Loafing do a yearly Best of the Bay Awards, which honors local restaurants, musicians, politicians, you name it, and determine who is the best of the Bay. And it is entirely user voted. So if you go to Creative Loafing Tampa, you can vote for the Best of the Bay Awards. We've actually been nominated for several awards. At Cigar City MGMT was nominated for Best Local Instagrammer. The Cigar City Radio Show was nominated for Best Local Podcast and Best Local Internet Radio Show. And I myself, for some odd reason, was nominated for Best CEO and Best Local Personality to follow on Twitter at Real Randy Ojeda. So all of those are under the People, Places, Politics category. So if you head to cltampa.com/BOTB 2017, you can vote for us. We'd really appreciate it. The polls will be open through August 23rd, and they're going to be announcing the winners September 27th at the Mahaffey Theater in St. Pete. So again, head to cltampa.com/BOTB 2017. Vote for Cigar City Radio for Best Local Podcast, Best Local Internet Radio Show, and at Cigar City MGMT for Best Local Instagrammer. If you want to vote for me for Best CEO, that's cool too. Thanks.
This episode of Cigar City Radio was recorded at the Blind Tiger in Ybor City. The Blind Tiger is a 1920s speakeasy-style coffee shop serving coffee, tea, vegan pastries, and more, with locations in Ybor City and Seminole Heights. You can check them out at blindtigercafe.com.
Our guests on this episode are Ethan Payne and Ryan Monahan from Athens-based post-rock band Easter Island. The band is currently on tour in the Northeast, and their upcoming album, Island Nation, is on its way. Single Island Nation, along with B-side It's You, are available now on streaming. For tour dates, links, and more, head to easterisland.band. We were also joined this week by our friend Adam Kielbach, who makes music under the name Hot Wax and is also a writer for the blog Ear Milk, so you can see his writing online. Adam is a fan of Easter Island, just happened to be hanging out with us before the interview, and we asked him to stick around, so if you hear some strange voice on this one, Adam. So here it is, episode number 46. Tampons. Easter Island. I know you broke up, sort of, is the story I've been told. Where you announced this breakup. It was very dramatic, and then now you're back.
It was devastating. We all went into our holes and grieved for a while. Yeah, our lead guitar player was one of our best friends. It started as a group of best friends, and he decided to go to business school and sort of change the course of his life. And so we sort of had to take a time out for a second. But I'd never planned to stop writing, and I knew that I wanted to make another record with Ryan, and so we did. And then it just became another Easter Island record.
It actually didn't take very long. I believe it was about maybe 6 months after our last show, which was it 2013?
14.
I think it was 2013.
Okay.
Yeah. And it was only about 6 months after that we started working, Ethan and I started working on material sort of under the radar. And, we weren't really sure at that point what it was going to turn into. It was really like a pretty relaxed situation. But yeah, we started working on stuff in the studio and, just kind of got right back to it. Now we're gearing up for another record. We're going to be shopping it to labels. The name of the album is probably going to be called Island Nation. I think probably a spring release is realistic. Mm-hmm. With we pretty much tracked everything. We're in the mixing stage right now, and we're super excited to put out another record and reinvigorate the whole project.
And now Island Nation's the name of the current single that's out right now.
Correct,
The video that you shot in Japan.
Yeah.
How did that happen?
Yeah, sure.
Well, the single Island Nation, the beginnings of that song I wrote when I was in Japan. I was there to visit a close friend of mine who's living over there, and he had to come back to the States very quickly because his dad was dying. Oh, man. And so I ended up just being in Japan by myself and hanging out and sort of being my own guide, which was its own weird thing. But I had a blast, and I wrote a lot of songs, but they all kind of had that sort of deep melancholy sort of kind of obsession with death in a sense and just change. Then I got back to the States. We started demoing the record. I ended up showing my friend Jake, whose dad had passed, some of the demos, and he said, dude, that song reminds me of my dad. We have to go back to Japan. And he's an incredible DP and director. So he was just like, we'll just go back to Japan and we'll take the trip that we were supposed to take, but we couldn't take, and we'll do a music video. So most expensive music video Easter Island has ever done.
Definitely way over our budget. But it was really also great to have someone give us a tour around Japan that speaks fluent Japanese, because I think
helps,
Ethan and I would have been fairly lost without his guidance. So he was really instrumental in making that whole trip happen, because we ended up traversing like 4 different cities around Japan. Like, all those shots are from all over the country. So
yeah, I noticed that. Like, you're in the countryside, but you're also like in the cities
right,
too. You're
exactly.
in the water.
Oh, we were hustling, like constantly, like, because he brought all of his gear, and we were just
like
going between subways,
hauling really heavy camera equipment, like traversing that through like the labyrinth like subway system of Tokyo, like at 2 in the morning.
Very little space to begin with.
Oh man, it was grueling.
Yeah. How many suits did you go through? Because I know you were like in the water in your suits. I was like, as a fan of fine suits, I was like, oh, these guys.
Yeah. So we actually picked those suits up at an H&M in Japan.
Okay, so they weren't that fine suits.
All right,
like $200 suits.
They were
maybe.
fake fine suits.
Yeah, but they were super comfy. We only went through one. We actually wore them all around the city, and then we went into the water at Tottori, which is this insane beach dunes, mountainous area, really on the west side of Japan. And so we went into the water. And then I think our hosts washed them for us, and they turned out fine.
And we probably dried them outside.
Yeah.
But yeah, Tottori was pretty mind blowing. I tell people all the time that it was like being on the planet of Tatooine. Yeah, it was like a Star Wars planet.
There were 2 suns. And
there were 2 suns.
Yeah, we were in a I forget what it's called, the traditional Japanese inn. Right over the sand.
That was
dunes.
great.
And it still took about an hour to hike over the sand, because it's just hard to walk on sand. But
yeah, I can imagine.
On that note, we also got really close to each other attending the what are the spas called in Japan?
Onsen.
The onsens, right? Because in traditional Japanese spa,
Oh yeah.
You know,
Yeah,
you're
yeah.
letting it
Oh, the
all-
onsens are incredible. I love bathhouses, like in general. Just like,
Yeah.
like I've been to one in Siberia. I've been to one. Well, I guess just Siberia and Japan. But like all the different rooms of different varying heat and
there's one
scrubbing yourself with.
hot tub that has like milk in it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's wild. Just like things you would just never even think of. Then there's one where you like rub sea salts
Yeah.
all over your skin, and you're just like in this 120-degree like heat with like salt.
There was a
body.
room. I mean, they have this at Jeju, which is a Korean spa in Atlanta.
Yeah.
But I still haven't been. But there was a snow room.
Oh, yeah.
Where you go in this circular glass room where it's actually like they're making snow, and I get hot really easily. So there's only so much of the sauna I can take, and then I would just hang out in the snow room.
Did you guys ever play Final Fantasy games?
Yeah.
Because it reminded me of that. It's like there's like an arcade, and then you go in this room where it's snowing inside. It's just like
Okay.
so like
you're-
very Japanese.
Yeah, and you're eating matcha ice cream.
You're
It's
eating like
incredible.
matcha ice cream. Yeah.
But that's just a
sounds
part of
great.
life that hasn't made its way to. I mean, it's just like
Right.
not an American thing to work a full day and then just go to the sauna.
Go to
And
the
you
sauna.
sleep so much better.
Oh,
like
I-
it's
I
incredible.
bet.
Oh, yeah.
We did it. We did it like 3 or 4 nights in a row. Like when
Yeah.
we were staying in Nagoya, we would you pay $10 and just spend 30 to 40
Just a
minutes.
couple bros like free
Just a
balling
couple
it.
of bros. Just like me and Ryan and Jake just hanging out with a bunch of Japanese dudes.
Yeah.
And now your brother Asher's in the band too, right?
He is, yes.
What's it like to play in a band with your brother?
Oh, it's incredible. It's great. I mean, he and I we wrote music together like in high school, and he was it's amazing to have that creative bond and like collaboration. We've all like I think we're each other's biggest fan. Like I think he's the most hilarious like genius person I've ever met. And this record was different though because he sort of wanted to he's very like a one-track mind type of person, and he's found a career in Atlanta that he really loves. And so when we were getting ready to make this new record, I knew that I wanted to do it with Ryan, and I told Asher, if you want to be on the record, like you will be. And he said he just decided to not be a part of the Creative Brain Trust anymore. So he's playing keys.
Okay.
But I think that was his desire for this record, is that he wanted to play keys and tour and have fun, but not really
Not have
be
the
a part of the
pressures
Brain
of
Trust.
writing.
Whereas like with Ryan and I, we like to have
Of course.
trains. Yeah. Atlanta's it's impossible to record anything in Atlanta because it was founded as a train terminus, so there's just trains everywhere.
Oh yeah, it's all good.
I like what it is.
Yeah, we have we have
totally.
that train in like almost every episode.
It's
so-
a little
Yeah.
of that local tampon
local flavor. Yeah,
character.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah, it's
Sample, our local sample.
well in Atlanta. Yeah, it helps me sleep at night, like having the train by my house, like in Atlanta,
I
like
feel
hearing
that.
it.
So
nice.
so you're living in Atlanta now then too? is
Yes.
you? Okay.
Well, yeah, my brother and I are in Atlanta. Ryan's still in Athens. John, our drummer's in Athens. Connor, our bass player's in Athens.
The last time I went to Atlanta, we were managing a hip hop artist, and I went for A3C, the big like hip hop
Oh, yeah, yeah.
festival.
Did you have some lemon pepper wings?
I did not. So I guess I really missed out.
That's
man.
something that Atlanta's famous for that
Yeah.
I didn't realize until maybe 2 or 3 months ago. Lemon pepper wings.
Lemon pepper.
Lemon
It's like a
pepper wings.
signature Atlanta delicacy.
Because we did go. We hung out a lot at this place called the Varsity.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
I ate there like more than I care to admit, but
Frosted orange. You get a frosted orange?
yes, I
Oh,
did. And then
God.
I even at the airport,
So
I was
good.
like, yes, more of
Yeah.
this. So back to the record. So Island Nation, it's probably you're just shopping it now, probably coming out next year. And are you sticking with because your music is very like introspective, heartfelt. It's not. I can tell, like you said, you started writing it in like 2014, and now you're coming up on 2018 when it's going to be released. So I can tell it's like something you really spent a lot of time on.
Yeah.
Is that kind of typical of your writing style?
Not at all. I mean,
Yeah.
it's kind of a miracle that we still like the songs. I mean,
Really?
because I don't. Well, maybe not a miracle for Ryan. It's really a miracle for me because I'm very, very impatient. And all the other recordings we did, I felt like I was constantly pushing to get out sooner, as soon as possible. And I feel like that hurt a couple of our earlier records. And so I think like we didn't have a booking agent anymore. We had broken up. I think it was sort of on purpose. I wanted to say, Ryan, let's just like force me to be patient and just record this with no outside pressures and just take our time with it.
Yeah, that's
and
totally accurate.
that was the intent. And then I think out of that, we just happened to still like the songs, thankfully.
Whereas
It's been a while.
we recorded the album Frightened, we tracked that over a course of a month. So we knocked that out pretty quickly. And of course we took longer than that to mix it, but tracking was only about a month. And with this album, since we were kind of in limbo and the band had taken this hiatus, we had the luxury of taking our time with it. And we had talked initially about, let's just get these songs right. There's no expectations. No one's waiting for a new record. As far as the world's concerned, we don't even exist anymore. We tracked it in my home studio, which was kind of a mobile setup. We ended up moving it around 4 times in 4 different locations.
4 different places.
And, if we didn't like the way guitar sounded, the tone or the performance, it would just be we would take a whole day to get a guitar tone right and just really take our time with it. And to workshop the song structures and kind of try out different ideas. So yeah, you're talking about the span of 3 years of kind of working on these songs versus a month. So it was a much different experience working on this from what we've done in the past. And I hopefully going forward that's not the norm.
Yeah.
I think once we get momentum, and I feel as though too when we were working on tracking this stuff, we started getting more efficient and knowing what we wanted to hear ahead of time and being able to know how to call up that sound. So we got better at it as we went along.
That's cool.
But, yeah.
That's cool. So you really did take your time on it.
We took our time on it.
I mean, it was in spurts. It was just, I have a weekend free, or you have 3 days here.
Yeah, it was very low pressure. It was just when our schedules coincided. We didn't want to put, any pressure on it. And, so we kind of continued living our lives, but then, worked on it any chance we can get.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And how many songs are on the new record?
It'll be 11?
I think there'll be 11.
Yeah.
Okay. So very full length.
Yeah. And there will be stuff too that we recorded that won't make it on
I think
that.
there'll be a couple B-sides.
Yeah. There'll be some probably extra material. And
we did the Zayn Malik cover super last minute as a B-side for the 7-inch single. Yeah. So Island Nation is out right now on a 7-inch, and we literally just picked them up 3 days ago and packaged them. And so they're on tour for the first. They're available for the first time.
Awesome!
As of 2 days
and
ago.
That's the It's You B-side, right?
It's You
Yeah,
B-side.
yeah.
Yeah, it's Zayn, the dude from One Direction.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
He was the bad boy in One Direction.
Yeah, he's the bad
of
boy.
the band.
Yeah.
that was a very last minute decision to put we wanted a B-side on that single, and we thought maybe it would be one of the extra tracks we had recorded, but Ethan does this beautiful acoustic version of that Zayn song.
Yeah,
and
it's awesome.
It totally works. It totally sounds like it fits in the Easter Island catalog. And so we did this kind of haunting
It only
rendition.
took
of the-
40 takes to
40 takes.
nail that. No, I mean, it just took forever to do.
Yeah.
Because I'm not Zayn Malik.
Well,
I can't sing like that. But.
Not every.
You
no
got
one
pretty
is.
close in your own way.
Yeah, it's
thanks,
definitely.
man.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't even know it was a Zayn Malik song, so I thought it
Oh,
was.
right on.
Yeah, but I thought lyrically, I was like, this is a little different than what I've heard from Easter Island, So
yeah.
now I can
different
now-
direction?
Yeah, a different
Yeah.
direction. Hey, there we go. One of the things I love about Spotify now is that B-sides have kind of made a comeback, because for a while you wouldn't really see B-sides because what was really the point? People weren't really flipping a cassette around or whatever. But now with Spotify, it's more common for people to have 2 tracks on a single or side A, side B, and then support it with a 7-inch like you're doing. That's awesome.
Yeah.
And
I'm a Radiohead B-side junkie.
Are you?
I have every obscure Radiohead B-side you could ever imagine on weird bootleg CDs or MP3s on my computer.
You got that Dropbox folder?
Oh, yeah. Just a gig of weird Radiohead B-sides.
Yeah, I know Adam's probably all about that.
Oh yeah, Lozenge
yeah.
of Love. That's my
Lozenge
favorite
of Love is
B-side,
yeah, that's a great one. They've
Fog-
done weird
Fog for
covers
me.
too. They've done
Fog's my favorite.
They've done Rhinestone Cowboy
Yeah.
as a cover. They did Carly Simon's Nobody Does It Better, which was on the which was part of a James Bond soundtrack.
Oh, really?
There's some really like weird deep
It's
stuff.
weird that you
can get
mentioned
into.
Rhinestone Cowboy of all songs. I was at a
Yeah.
show last night where they played Rhinestone Cowboy.
Right.
Yeah, I was like, what are the
Well, of
chances?
course, because of the now late
Glenn Campbell.
Glenn Campbell.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's making a.
Thanks for remembering his name because for the second I was
Sam Shepard. I was going
for
to say
Sam.
Sam Shepard. Can you just name anyone else who died recently? It's like everyone says a different name.
Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you what's actually pretty underrated. It's a cover of Radiohead. John Mayer did a cover
Oh.
of the song Kid A.
Yeah,
and
I've
it's
heard that.
acoustic, and he
Yeah.
sings in his lower register, and it's amazing.
Yeah, it is really good actually.
Yeah.
I was a little skeptical going into it, but then I was like, okay, I dig it. He also did, I think it was John Mayer. He did a cover of Bjork. It was I forgot the Bjork tune, or maybe it was Jason Mraz. I don't know. Sometimes I confuse
Jason
those.
Mraz.
I get those two.
Yeah, do you? Okay, it's not just me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, one of them wears a hat. the
Oh,
other
it
one-
was Unravel, the
Like
Bjork
dates
song
Taylor
Unravel.
Swift. I think
It's
that's the
beautiful.
Who dates Taylor Swift?
I think it was.
I don't know. They
Not
don't
Jason
date
Mraz.
anymore. No.
Once Upon a Time.
John Mayer dated.
Oh,
Taylor
John
Swift.
Mayer did. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like a breakup song was hilarious.
Well, all of her songs
yeah,
are
yeah,
breakup
yeah.
songs, but one of them specifically.
Well,
is,
yeah, I'm a huge
is about
Taylor
John
Swift
Mayer.
fan, so
I
mean, most.
I don't know if you're being ironic with that or if you're.
So I'm not being ironic with that. I am a huge Taylor Swift fan.
I also love Taylor Swift.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
You're in good.
Well, I mean, her
company.
last two records were about another dude from One Direction.
Oh, yeah.
Harry Styles.
So, are you also a big One Direction fan? Is that what I'm getting here?
I mean, I probably only know like 4 or 5 of their last hits.
Okay, that's 4
I'm not
or
a
5
deep
more.
cut. I'm not a One Direction deep cut guy, but
You don't like all the One
you
Direction
know,
B-sides?
no, I'm not. I don't have the One Direction B sides on 7-inch or.
What continues to amaze me is the Payne brothers' encyclopedic knowledge of the canon of pop music is like.
We're just
It-
pop junkies.
Oh
for
yeah,
sure.
Oh, I'm all about that though,
For
man.
sure.
I'm big into pop music, so I'm all about like. I wish I could say that it's my wife's the reason why we have all of Taylor Swift's albums on vinyl, but it's not. Like it's me.
How do you feel about the Ryan Adams?
I
cover
love the
album?
Ryan Adams
I love
cover.
it.
Now she hates it, my wife, but
Really?
but yeah.
See,
She's a Swiftie traditionalist.
Lately, when I've been doing some cover shows here and there, I'll play the Wildest Dreams,
Oh yeah.
Ryan Adams version.
No, I love like his Bad Blood. Like he turned it into like a Springsteen track,
Oh, yeah.
basically. Like that's awesome. Well, see, now I want an Easter Island Taylor Swift cover album. I think that needs to happen.
Well,
we can knock that out in a weekend.
it's like Ryan Adams
Well,
recorded
no,
the tape in 24
we'll take
hours.
4 years.
Yeah, take
to,
4 years.
to record a Taylor Swift cover album.
So where does your love for pop music come from? Or the Payne brothers' love of pop music as
You
Ryan
know,
put it?
you know what? I think it.
From your repressed musical
Yeah,
youth.
we were very, very. My brother and I were very, very sheltered growing up. We weren't allowed to listen to. We were only allowed to listen to Christian music growing up.
Okay.
And I think a lot of our rebellion, because we weren't that rebellious kids, looked like listening to top 40 radio when our parents didn't know we were. I remember when I was 11, we were in the Kroger parking lot, and my mom went in and she left me in the van, and she was like, you can like listen to the radio. And I turned it to the top 40 station, and Iris by Goo Goo Dolls came on, and it just blew my mind. I didn't know that type of beauty could exist in the world.
Whenever he
I
tells
was-
this story, I imagine like a cat that has never seen the outside before.
And its eyes get all.
Well, and
It's
then
like-
after that, so Iris by Goo Goo Dolls played, and then Jumper by Third Eye Blind played, and I was just pumped, man. At 11. It's just like, this is a whole nother world I
yeah.
didn't know anything about.
Yeah. Meanwhile, I'm like 9 years old watching like MTV Beach House.
Well, he at whatever 12
I-
bought OK Computer when it came out. He was already listening to the right music.
I had an
way
opposite
before we
experience.
were-
Like I think I was almost like had too much freedom or like was exposed to too much. And, you know, I had like no like restrictions.
Yeah, that's how I feel too. Because I had an older brother, so he would get like,
Oh, yeah,
you know,
yeah.
he was
Same
big
here.
into like metal, so he would get these like hardcore and metal albums, and then I'd steal them from his room and burn them or whatever, you know. So I feel you. I felt like the opposite. Like I had no restrictions. So like by the time I was like 18, 19, I was like over heavy music. I was like, I've heard it all.
Yeah, yeah.
Sure, yeah.
But that's
Totally.
wild. It's amazing how that can shape your music later on. Like like that like you discovering top 40 music, I guess, at a later age than most people, you know?
Right. And then not even developing my obsession with Radiohead till like late high school or early college even, you know?
Which I feel like is a good time because you can almost process it a little better than being a 12-year-old OK Computer fan over here like Ryan.
Oh man, that album was like the beginning of my life. I was born.
So you were born in a Kroger parking lot, and you were born with a OK Computer album.
I remember buying. I remember
Such
like
a good way to put it.
buying that album. Yeah, I was like 12 years old in a Best Buy, and like because I had seen Paranoid Android, the music video.
Fucked up animated.
Yeah,
I'm sorry,
That Rob.
yeah,
Robert,
we are.
Oh man,
we are an
And I
explicit
just was
show.
like, I had never heard anything like that in my life, and I don't want to go on a Radiohead tangent or whatever, but yeah,
yeah,
like a lot of people, it was like kind of a game changing.
One of these days, we just need to do a Radiohead podcast where we find musicians that are just obsessed and bring them in, and we'll nerd out for hours.
Oh, please have me there.
I'll invite you back.
We have a recorded version. We used to do a mashup of Let Down by Radiohead with Runaway by Kanye.
What?
From,
We tracked it for the album.
We tracked it for the record, then decided to not. We'll probably release it at some point.
Yo, Dan, send me that. Toss me the link.
Oh, it's good.
Yeah, my brother
I'd love to hear
sings
that.
lead on it. He sings the Kanye portion of it, and then we sing the Radiohead version.
You know that sort of improvised like vocoder vocal thing at the end that's like 3 minutes long?
Yeah.
I actually like recreated that on bass, like with this effects pedal called the Woolly Mammoth.
Nice.
It's like
Yeah,
this
great pedal.
really effed up. Oh, cool. You know
yeah.
it. Like you can just get some really gnarly, like it sounds like what the name implies. It sounds like a woolly mammoth.
Yeah.
And
And he just nailed the parts. We would do it live, and people are just like, I was just like weeping because that's like the emotional like catharsis of the song where he's just like riffing into this vocoder at the end.
it sounds like weeping.
Yeah,
like
it sounds like
electronic
he's
weeping.
you know?
Wasn't that
Kanye.
technically the last song we had played before the band broke up? Because I think it was like the last song of the last show. It might have been.
I can't remember.
Yeah. I think it was. I think I remember
believe it.
like throwing my bass on the ground, and it's just like a fit of rage. I was just like, it was really emotional.
Yeah.
We were probably all crying.
We cry a lot.
Do you have a lot of
We
like
cry a lot.
emotional performances too? Because it's like just in general, like I've watched some of your live videos where like even the crowd is like really.
We actually had a fan come to the show last night who's also happens to be a fan of the Cindy Project.
Okay.
And he spoke with me after the show last night and told me that when Ethan started singing the lyrics to Island Nation, that tears started coming down his face. And I was talking about it this morning, just saying like, you write a song and it has certain meaning for you, and to some extent, like that meaning can get lost in like the mechanics of like performing and touring, like. You're putting on a show, but you forget that for someone seeing that it has this new meaning for them. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And it was really powerful. He came up to me after the show and told me about this, and his eyes were like watering up, and he told me that he was crying when we started playing the song, and he gave me a big bear hug. But I love those kind of moments that you have with people.
Yeah. Then that makes everything worth it, you know?
Yeah.
Sleeping on floors and not
Getting
hearing your vocals
getting to bed
in the
at
monitor
3 in the
very well.
morning. And
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's kind of like the true like beauty of music. I feel like is we get so disconnected by just listening to music on an app on our phone, but to go to a show and see a live performance that moves you to tears is absolutely incredible. Mm-hmm. So that's cool that you have fans that are having that kind of response.
And I
We're
get
very
it. Like
thankful.
I've been on the receiving end of that too.
Yeah.
I remember like crying the first time I saw Damien Rice perform live because it was just like incredibly moving and powerful, and he had like a string section touring with him, and just like what those songs meant to me personally at the time in my life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've gotten emotional before seeing our buddies Oak House who are playing with us tonight at New World. We've been on tour with them, and I've gotten emotional at their shows. Their shows are very intense too. If you guys haven't seen them,
I have not
and you're
seen
coming.
them, but Yeah, so you're on tour with them now. Are you doing the full leg of the tour with them?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
What do you got?
every
What do you
day
got
it's-
coming up? Is this the start of the tour? The end of the tour?
this
Where
is
are
the
we?
beginning.
This is
beginning.
day 2.
Oh, yeah.
Day 3 or day 2 or day 3 if you count Athens.
So
That
of
makes
course
sense.
tonight, we'll be at New World Brewery. Then we're going to be headed to Raleigh, Durham, Harrisonburg, Washington, all over the place. Eventually, we'll end up in New York City. Where are we playing? The Bowery Electric. That'll be cool.
Yeah.
We're playing in Fairfield, Connecticut. That's my original home state.
Really?
Y'all. I'm a Connecticut
Connecticut, y'all.
Connecticut tampon.
Yeah.
Connecticut.
So yeah, I grew up in the New Haven area, and but I've been in Athens now for about 10 years.
So,
But it'll be cool to go back home. I'll see, some of my old buddies will probably come out.
yeah,
See
that's what I
the
was
show.
going to ask. Are you going to have some hometown support? Hometown
I
love
hope
for
so.
that one?
A lot of people that I was friends with back then, no longer live in the state. But there's a small handful. Yeah. So that'll be cool.
So this is the first major tour that you've done since the band's
Oh
reformed.
yeah,
Oh,
absolutely.
yes.
Yeah.
I mean, it's probably the 5th show we've played since we
yeah.
broke up.
Right. Yep.
Wow.
5th show back.
Yeah.
or
No, we're
something.
just kind of like diving right back into it. It'll be good for us though. I'm looking forward to kind of gelling, performance wise again, and like kind of getting that that kind of synergy. I just used the word synergy on a podcast.
Profit pillar.
I'm looking forward to the merchandise opportunities for vertical integration.
Yeah.
We're looking
View
forward to
music
some brand
through
partnerships.
Spreadsheets. I can't understand music without spreadsheets.
Hey, honestly though, like as a band manager, like spreadsheets is like a big part of our business.
Oh, no, I know. That's why
Dan's
I say
nodding
it,
his
'cause
head
Dan,
back there.
Yeah, we're on a lot of spreadsheets, and
Yeah. Like
it's
the artist
it's
gets
very
to do-
satisfying to see it all
come
laid out.
together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I should say, for people that are listening to this podcast, I assume it'll probably be released while we're on tour.
Yeah.
So it would be cool if people checked out, on Instagram, where it's just Easter Island. We've got a tour schedule up on there. You can find Easter Island on Facebook. EasterIsland.band is our website. So see if
people go to
you're on the
band
East
websites
Coast. We're playing all along the East Coast. So come, we'd love to see you come out to a show and talk to you about the music.
Yeah, absolutely. And we were talking about earlier, this isn't your first time in Tampa. You're here for Adam saw you guys at Don't Stop St. Pete.
Yeah, before you guys broke up a couple years ago. Yeah.
Oh, in St. Pete?
Yeah.
Cool,
you guys are
cool.
doing a little festival down
That
there.
was that festival. I totally remember that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow.
And our old booking agent is from Orlando, and so we would tour Florida all the time. So we would always
Mostly in Florida.
we toured mostly in Florida. It was Will's Pub, New World Brewery, Crowbar, the High Dive in Gainesville.
We've been all over this state.
We played Bro Bar in Jacksonville a lot.
Sweet.
I think the only major city we
haven't
haven't
been
played is
south.
Yeah, we haven't been to Miami.
Yeah.
We've never played Miami.
You don't need to go to Miami.
Nah.
It's fine. Just
I don't know.
stay
If,
here.
I don't know if that's the music scene that we would kind of.
I don't even know. I don't know.
Miami's having a big resurgence of like psychedelic rock
Wow.
and stuff right
Okay.
now. A lot of garage bands are out there that are really cool.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it is awesome.
Like the Tame Impala kind of thing.
yeah, that kind of thing. Maybe a little more like Burger Recordsy,
Yeah.
like more garagey. But I don't know how Easter Island would fit in with that. I don't know. I think New
Maybe
York's
not
gonna
well.
love you though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We've always done well in New York. I feel like the crowds have been really responsive.
We like
Yeah.
New York a lot.
So this will be this tour, and then maybe another tour before the record, or
Another tour in October.
Okay.
And we'll be hitting up more cities in the Midwest, probably Iowa City, Omaha, maybe Chicago. So yeah, we're gonna head a little more westward in October, which is cool. We've actually never toured in the Midwest.
Yeah, we've never been west of Austin before, so
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, we've done South by a handful of times, but yeah, that'll be fun.
Are you doing South by again this year?
I think that's the plan. Yeah.
Yep, we'll hitting that in March.
Cool.
If all goes well, it'd be great to kind of try to coincide the record release around that time.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Well, we'll be at South by too. So if you see us, and
Awesome.
amidst the thousands of other people that are wandering around,
Right.
be sure to say what up. Any final thoughts for the Cigar City Radio listeners or the Tampa crowd here?
Drink Cigar City beer.
Yeah, shout out to them.
Yeah, check us out on tour.
Yeah.
We'll be on tour. We have a new record that'll be out. We don't know, but soon, called Island Nation.
Check out the music video we shot in Japan because we're really proud of it. It was an adventure. So I know Paste Magazine premiered that, so you could find it on Paste. It's probably on YouTube or
It's on
Vimeo.
YouTube, yeah,
okay,
yeah.
it's on YouTube. Easter Island, Island Nation, and we also just want to thank you guys for having us on.
Yeah,
the,
it means
on
a
the
lot.
podcast.
Thank you
Thanks for
your
coming through.
interest.
And we're proud to be honorary tampons. So.
Yeah, you can always be honorary tampons in
Yeah.
our book. That's for sure. So shout out to all the listeners. If you went to the Easter Island show at New World Brewery, I'm sure it was badass. Tell us what you thought, and be sure to find them online.
Just like me and Ryan and Jake just hanging out.
Just a couple bros like freeballing it.